We're about to take you inside one of the most exclusive golf clubs in America, this side of Augusta National. There are only 70 members. They meet just once a year in the last week of July. To join, you have to be a man of means, uphold the highest standards of conduct, and above all, love the game of golf. But this golf club has no home. They call themselves the Nomads because they have literally been wandering from course to course for almost 70 years. Not by choice, but because of the color of their skin. The founding fathers of the club were African-American golfers searching for green fairways and acceptance, only to be turned away because others saw only black. Last summer, the Nomads invited us to come along as they honored their past, talked some serious trash, and played some of the best amateur golf in America. Which leads us to the words of the noted sports philosopher Lee Trevino, who once said, "There are two things you can do with your head down: play golf and pray."
Bow our heads, please. Oh God, thou mightiest golfer of the universe, we pray to thee to be present with us this week. Grant us the wisdom to have the courage to walk to the first tee, driver in hand, and boom the tee shot as straight as thou would have us do.
I got my wife, my life, and there's golf. Oh, Lordy.
Oh God, keep the bogeys and double bogeys to a minimum.
You gotta love this game to want to be a member of this club.
And the birdies and eagles plentiful.
Yeah! What's up, man? How you doing? What you doing?
Help us to realize that good sportsmanship, camaraderie is the aim and concern of everyone as we strive together for the love and brotherhood of all nomads. Let us say, amen.
Amen. You've never missed a meeting.
No, this is my 20th meeting.
Dr. Walt Bauer is an obstetrician from Cincinnati. He's the president of the Nomads.
For 51 weeks of the year, you can do whatever you want to do, but the 52nd week, which is the last week of July, that's Nomad Week.
Last summer, the Nomads gathered in Carlsbad, California at the famed La Costa Resort for 4 days of golf.
We'll go around for our introductions.
I'm Dr. Robert Burnett, but you all know me as...
We call ourselves Buck Wild.
They came from all over the country.
Rich Cosby.
From all walks of life. Most hadn't seen each other for an entire year.
Eric Bass, Detroit, Michigan. Stand up.
Eric Bass's family started the first black-owned and operated radio stations in Detroit. He joined the Nomads 17 years ago.
I play white golf and black golf, and I love it because they're two different games, and when I combine the two, it makes my game better.
You're playing like brown golf.
Yeah, because I had the fundamentals of the white game, by the rules. I said, boy, if he can't fly, but I have the instinct and the guts of the ghetto game. They're going to be laying for his ass tonight.
Back home, many Nomads belong to predominantly white country clubs.
Nomads!
When they get together, they say, theirs is a uniquely black game.
It's two different games. There's the country club game, and then there's the game with the brothers.
If you've lost the bet to the doctor, he will revive your ass.
Paul Mason and his brother David have been Nomads for more than 20 years.
The guys aren't afraid to be who they are. And yes, there's a lot of trash talk.
The Masons. The sweatiest family out here.
And we get a little loud.
Player!
But we enjoy the game.
It's hysterical to watch.
You pissed the old man off, didn't you? That's how you damn boss.
The shit that's getting talked.
Look at you. You're like some gangster.
And the arrows that are getting slung. It has to be fun to be involved with.
Yeah, it is, it's expected.
Uh-oh, we're gonna stress this motherfucker out.
When you come, you have to have a thick skin.
What have I done?
You need oxygen?
And it's all part of seeing what your medal is, and in some ways making you a little stronger for a world that we go out into that sometimes is not necessarily receptive or hospitable.
A world back in the early 50s where the only African Americans allowed in all-white country clubs were either carrying a bag or serving food. It was then the original Nomads, men of means and stature, part of a burgeoning black middle class, charted a new course.
The club started with a group of doctors out of Chicago, but there were no facilities where these guys could play. And so when they found a place they could play, they would go and call, friends here and there, and they would all go to whatever facility would accept them. And so they were nomads. They had no home.
These prominent blacks included Olympic heroes Jesse Owens and Ralph Metcalf. The club officially began in 1950. Many of the early nomads were the first African-American doctors, lawyers, and businessmen from Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, and Washington, D.C.
My name is Ted Mason. I'm a retired dentist. I've been a nomad since 1969.
Dr. Ted Mason, who died in 2004, was a 7-time club champion.
Beautiful, Ted. What else? Beautiful.
President of the Nomads for 17 years. The first of 3 generations of nomads that today include his sons David and Paul.
Crazy, eh?
Grandsons Taylor and Spencer.
Hey, Cap, you're 93 and haven't used Viagra yet, right?
Not yet.
In 1998, Paul, who broke color lines as a TV news executive, began filming his father and other second-generation nomads for a future documentary.
It's the only guy in the world older than I am, right here.
Paul, you've said these men who began the club, they loved the game of golf, but the game didn't love them back.
I look at our father. Dad started as a caddy at a little golf course in his hometown in southern Ohio called the Caddis Country Club. He became a scratch golfer. My father was a known amateur golfer in Cleveland, Ohio in the 1950s, and yet he was excluded from white tournaments.
Where I want to hit it.
You see that opening in those trees at a distance?
Right there, that little V thing?
Yeah.
For his documentary, Paul took his father, after 60 years, back to the course where, as a caddy, he fell in love with golf.
That was 60 years ago.
Yes, indeed.
One of the most poignant moments is your dad walking down that hall.
Hall of Champions.
Don Vastbinder, yes.
And he's looking at all these guys, the different club champions.
Mo Madron, I knew him.
And in his mind, what he's really saying is, I could have beat him, but of course, he could not have been a member of the Caddis Country Club.
Ted Mason lived by the phrase, a cut above. A Tuskegee Airman in 1955, he and his family were the first blacks to move into the all-white suburb of Shaker Heights, Ohio. It took 2 more decades before the Nomads crossed another white line onto better courses. How important was that to the founding members? Being able to get into places that they hadn't been able to get into before.
It's very important that we go where we have not been able to go before so that we can show that, in fact, we can go there. And then we will continue to go there, and then more of us will go there, and that's how change and revolution happens.
All right, man, let's go.
Given the history of the Nomads, how significant is it to play at a place like La Costa? The buildings are white, people are white, this community is largely white, and you're here and you are treated like everybody else.
It's not lost on us that we're at La Costa because we're still connected to that older generation that could never have come here.
You made it up out of home.
You got it.
And I think we all, as a club, we are very cognizant of how we have to act when we are here or anywhere else because we're proud of being good men.
Oh, yeah, he out the middle of that chat.
However, there's a flavor that we bring that's a little bit different than many of the other.
Pepper to all the salt that's floating around here.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Okay, I got another shot in my game now. Everywhere we go, and especially on the day when we are yellow and black, people are they're like, who are these guys? You know, where are they from? They're from Mars.
How did they all show up here at the same time?
At one time, and we get the same questions over. Where are you from?
You people came from all over?
To play golf, yeah. And then when they find out that a few of us can actually play, they're like, wow.
Do you find in this day and age that there are still people who are surprised how good you play golf because you're black?
Yes. There's always this sense that when we go to the first tee, we're going to be the group that holds up the play for that day. And then all 4 players can really hit it. I can see the surprise on the faces of the group behind us.
What Tiger used to call the look that he would get.
Right.
And I'm sure you've gotten it too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for
That's
sure.
Right.
It's time to do something good, make me feel good.
Every nomad has experienced it. Cornell Williams is a defense attorney in Houston.
I understand it's not gone completely. You still get to look certain places you go, but I use it as an opportunity to educate people, to make them understand that we enjoy the same benefits of our hard work as everybody else. What goes on in Nomads stays in Nomads, all right? Yeah.
The Nomads are more than a black social club devoted to golf. It's a place where these accomplished men can be themselves.
Will you please come up here, Waldo?
Years ago, one of the early members, Dr. Waldo Kane, coined the Nomads' salty motto that lives to this day.
Everybody in this club is somebody at home. Here we go. But when you come here, you're just another fucking nomad.
And we live by that. So whatever your title is, whatever your entitlement is at home, you check that at the door, because we're going to break you down here.
Motherfucking nomad. That's right. We all buy into that. It's like we all know we're somebody, but when we get on the golf course, it's just us. It's kind of us against everybody else. It is a great feeling of empowerment, but it's also a feeling of togetherness.
And it isn't just a feeling. It's physical in the way they greet and embrace what they see as an unbreakable bond of shared experience and history.
How important is it to uphold the traditions and the history of this club?
It lets you know that you're not alone. Other folks have done exactly the same thing. They have had to break barriers. This is what binds us, knowing that we've all been involved in the struggle.
Dues are due. I will personally come by and see you. What you gonna leave in your pockets? And whatever we find, we snatch.
With just 70 members, there is a waiting list.
So if we got a hole in your pocket, guess what we gonna snatch?
It's a lifetime commitment, and you have to be sponsored to get in. Choosing who becomes a member is an age-old ritual with a nomadic twist.
Now I'm gonna ask the cameraman to just shut the cameras off, and they could excuse us for a few minutes as we go through this very solemn ceremony.
Were you supposed to bring the computer?
In an elaborate ruse, prospective members were told to prepare a long speech
You better come from the heart, baby. You got it. Come on, man.
and why they deserve to be a nomad.
You got everything together. You don't need excuses. Chin up. Come on. Chin up.
One by one, they were brought in, like sheep to slaughter.
I'll do my best.
We couldn't shoot inside, but this is what the ceremony looked like in 1998.
My name is Roger Cheek.
New members shot down as soon as they opened their mouths.
My name is William Earl Woods.
This isn't a place for a bunch of speeches. We don't want to hear it. You can do that when you go back home. And so that's part of the message of the initiation is basically shut the fuck up, sit down. Okay, we're playing golf here.
We want to extend a welcome to our new members. Don't feel rained on, we all went through the same thing.
I want to present to you Armor Cantillion.
And I should have known better when the Nomads asked me to say a few words.
I hope you guys don't mind. I'd like to start out with like a 45-minute personal history.
So
Every year, the Nomads take time to pay tribute to those who came before. A memorial ceremony marked by tradition and a singular color of dress.
we can take our hats off for a moment of silence. Thank you. Now, tradition has it that the club champion launches the first ball of our tournament. Our club champion from last year is Art McCullough.
And if you don't think there's pressure to hit a perfect shot, ask Dr. David Wooding, the former club champion.
It's huge. Sometimes it's, sweaty palms and you don't want to shake it.
No, you don't.
You don't want to shake it.
These are your brothers.
That's the quietest you guys have been.
It all builds up to the final day.
It's game time, baby. Last day, last round.
When it's game on to see who will be the next club champion.
All right, take that.
After 17 holes, Dr. Larry Blackman held a 2-shot lead over Dr. David Wooding.
All around. Screw them in, they stay longer.
But then Blackman's tee shot on 18 found the water. The beginning of a meltdown
This one's in the water too.
that every amateur who has ever teed it up
This is choking.
has suffered the same way on some day.
Oh, man.
Dr. Blackman's final number, a big fat 10.
Glad I don't do this for a living.
Yeah, but I think you probably won't.
Allowing Dr. Wooding to claim another club title by a single stroke. In what can only be called poetic justice, the Nomads now call the shots. Once rejected, 5-star clubs and resorts are begging for their business.
Okay, here we go, guys.
When we talk about where we might go in the following year, you do hear someone voice the opinion, no, I don't think it's the right one. It's not good enough for the Nomads.
I'd like to offer a toast. A toast to the Nomads.
This is an affirmation of the work of the previous 2 generations. This is simply just fulfilling what ought to be, which is we have every ability and every right to embrace this game that we love and play it every single place that we can.
Well, you're living the vision of the men that founded the club.
Oh, yeah. And we have a message to spread that we belong. We're good golfers, and much more than just good golfers, we love the game as much as anybody else. So why not? Give us a shot. Give us a try.